Okay, it's recording.
Hello, class. We are having an overview of Assignment 7, and we are recording this for you if you are not able to make this meeting. My name is Diane Lebanowski. I'm one of the instructors, and Dr. Hine is also here to help with this presentation. So this assignment is due week 7 at the end of the week. It is 225 points, or 22.5% of your grade. So it is a pretty good sized chunk. So you do want to get started on it now. It's not something that you can do on a Sunday evening. So the first, we'll go over a brief overview and then talk about the table that you're going to use. So when you're doing this, you definitely need to use LIRN or Ovid, because you will need to find a nursing journal. And one of the key things I always think about is if it doesn't have the word nurse or nursing in it, it's probably not a nursing journal. There are very few nursing journals that don't have the word nursing in it. So Lois, you want to scroll down to the instructions?
So what we're looking for in this nursing journal is actually a nursing research study. So, and like Diane said, the best way to find a nursing research study is to look in your nursing journal. So definitely look at Ovid, because there's a lot of full text nursing journals in Ovid. And then there, of course, are some in LIRN as well.
So, and the point too is it has to be a full article. You will not be able to do this by using an abstract, because you need way more information than what an abstract has. So when you're going to be using the table, and we will go over that in a few minutes, but basically what it is you will identify your scholarly evidence-based, and make sure you put this in your advanced search, peer-reviewed study. And in the introduction, you also need to include, why did you choose this study? Then the second part is you're going to critique it according to the ANA framework. There's 1A through N. Each is worth 20 points, and we will show you that when we open up the table in a minute or two. The third part of the study is to discuss the ethical considerations, including protection of human subjects, informed consent, or use of IRB, and any concerns you would have about the ethical considerations. As I said, you're going to be using the table format. You do not need a title page or reference, and you will add your citations, which are consistent with APA format, in the end. So the grading rubric is coming up now, and basically it goes 10 points, 8 points, 7 points, 6 points, 0 points if you do not have the information. So do you have anything to add, or should we take it to the table?
You can take it to the table. Now the citations are going to be on the table wherever they're needed, and then the references actually have a square on the table to put them on. So everybody needs to, look over your rubric, but then, like I said, everything should be on the table that you need, but the rubric breaks it down, like Diane said, into the point values you would get.
And good point about the citations. Make sure they are included when you're referring to something related to your articles.
So in week 7, there's the assignment instructions and everything, and right underneath of it is the table that you're going to use. And you can just download this and fill it out. So there's the introduction that Diane talked about, including the scholarly evidence-based peer-reviewed study that you've chosen and why you've chosen that study. And then here is that A through N we're speaking about. And you get that by clicking on, hold on, let me go back over here, Diane, and show them where they're going to find that A through N.
Okay. Because you want to bring that article up, even though it's on the table, you also need that as a reference.
I'm going to bring it up. Here it goes. We're going to go back to the assignment instructions. Oh, that's the table. Oh, boy, if I click that table one more time, that's it.
I could start. Okay,
Okay,
there it is.
assignment. There's the assignment.
There it is.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here it is. So this is the information about that A through N. I mean, we didn't make this stuff up. It comes from the American Nurses Association, and this is how they critique a research study. So this is how you should read and critique according to the American Nurses Association. So that's where this A through N came up from. So you'll want to have this. You might want to print it out and just have it handy. And that's the stuff that's on the table. So this is why you've got to have a full study. If you don't have a full study, you're not going to have all these sections to talk about. So Diane,
no, and each one of these is worth 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
And, or is it 10 points?
I think
I'd have to go back and look. And you want those boxes filled, not just one or two sentences. This is 10, oh, they're 20, you're right.
Right? Section, A through N.
So you want to make sure that you're answering each area adequately, not just yes, no, I think it is, but an explanation with each of these criteria.
And you're not going to be able to answer the one about the title until you've read your research study. So you might want to start by finding your study and reading it and highlighting it, based on these A through N, because does it accurately describe the article? You won't know until you read the article whether or not the title was misleading. And then if it is or isn't, like Diane said, you've got to fill something in here, not just, yeah, I think it was, or yes, it is, or no, it wasn't. You need to be, explaining that to get your 20 points.
Correct. So.
Same thing. Did they have abstract?
I think, yeah. Basically, just answering every one of these questions fully.
Purpose of the study. I mean, yeah, it's all on here. Research question. Now, the purpose of the study is not always the same as the research questions. It's different. What is the reasoning for conducting this? And then there's the actual research question. What theoretical framework did they use and describe? If they did not provide a theoretical framework, should there be one? And if so, what would you suggest? But don't just say, no, there wasn't one. You have to fill it out. Each study should have a literature review. That's required for all research studies, so talk about that. What methods? So you want to look at their methods section. Sometimes they'll infer it in their abstract, but not always, so you need to really get to that method section and go through. And here's all the things we've been studying on: data collection and sample size. And then the analysis. Anything else you want to add on these, Diane?
The only thing I would add is, for an example in the methods, make sure you're answering every one of those questions. So sometimes it's nice even to make a bullet point and then answer the question, but make sure you're answering all the questions.
That's true.
In each area.
Yeah, because there's several things that are asked. And then the discussion, all the research studies usually have a discussion section after they've given their results. Go through that. What were the limitations of the study? Those should be included in your study. If you don't have all these sections in your research study, you may not have a full study. So go over this A through N first and make sure the one you choose has everything so that you'll be able to actually do your assignment.
Yes, highly recommended to do that. Otherwise, it'll be very difficult to do this.
Right. So now, when you get down to this section, this is where you're going to determine the level and quality of the evidence using the scale. We've given you two websites here. The nursingworld.org has the research toolkit. You'll need to find the appraising the evidence section. That might be a little cumbersome, so we've given you a nice, easy one here to go right to. And if you click on that in the table, you end up with this. So you're going to, after you've read and understood your research that you're reading, then you're going to say what was the level of evidence and what were the grades of recommendation. So You'll have one of these letters up here for the level, one of these numbers, and down here one of these levels, the recommendation letters. But you need to explain why you've chosen these levels and grades. So you'll say, this is the level and this is the grade, and why you've chosen those.
Yes, I agree. Make sure you're explaining why you pick those levels. So.
And this one here, the second one, it's much easier to use. So you're determining the level and grade using the scale. There's several here. You're welcome to go and get one and use a different one, but otherwise we just provide you this one here that we just showed you. Then you're going to describe the study. If the study is applicable to your practice as a nurse, can you use these results and recommendations in your practice as a nurse? And that's, again, explain, don't just yes or no. You have to be thorough. Discuss ethical considerations. This is where that part Diane was reading off of the rubric comes in. And then all through this here in the top, you're going to have references. So you need more than one reference. So yes, you're going to be referencing your study, but then you, in your discussion of these areas, will be bringing in possibly some information from your textbook or possibly other information that supports your statements, especially if you have some considerations up here in the ethical parts, or you have comments about the sample size they use and you had other recommendations. You need to cite those up here in the table. And then down here where it says references, right here is where you'll put your reference list in alphabetical order. I'm sure you might not be able to get the hanging indent, and Diana, I'm not going to worry about the hanging indent because it's on a table, but
right.
It should be in APA 6th edition format, and they should have be in alphabetical order, and each of your references should have a matching citation above in your text in the table here, so that we know what one of these citations, where did you get it in the literature, the information, and then it should have the matching reference down below. Have anything else, Diane, on this table?
No, I think it's important to answer all the questions, do a good job. This is your last big assignment, and it's a big chunk of your grade, so you really want to put a lot of effort into this.
Yeah, it's not something you can wait until Saturday or Sunday and knock out, because you need to be finding your study now. And once you've got your study, go through this A through N and make sure it has all the boxes, everything you need so that you can be successful. If you're having any struggles, you can give us a call and we can help you out and answer questions. But definitely, I'd get started early. This is week 6. I'd be finding me a study.
Yes, and you won't be able to find these studies just by using Google. You'll definitely need to use LIRN or Ovid.
Right.
Because they won't meet the criteria if you do not use your library databases.
Right, and watch out for PubMed. You want to stay away from that because we're finding that that's just abstracts. It may resemble parts of a study, but it's their way they format their abstract. So stick with your full text nursing journals through Ovid or LIRN. You're going to need to go to the health and medical or nursing databases.
So I think that's it. We don't have anybody to ask us questions. So if you do have questions, please call us or email us.
Or post them in the questions to the instructor, because then everybody else can see the answers.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to stop recording.
All right.
Maybe.
Do you have to end the session?